All right, what's up, everyone? I'm Filoki, and today we're going to be taking a look at a little bit of a preview for the Week 15 matchup between the Rams and the Seahawks that happens later today. Now, before we actually get into anything about a preview, I just want to say the NFL has ruined the most important game of the year for the Seattle Seahawks. If the Seahawks want any chance of making the playoffs, they've got to win this game. And by God, by moving the game to Tuesday, this game is looking a lot worse for the Seattle Seahawks. And I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I'm going to go into some conspiracy theories. So, this game being moved to Tuesday. Of course, going into the game on Sunday, the Rams had like 25. I believe there was a peak of 29 COVID cases at one time before the game was going to go on. And the Seattle Seahawks had a measly 2 COVID cases. Tyler Lockett and Alex Collins. I mean, they're pretty important players for us, but only 2 COVID cases. We're doing significantly better than 29. However, the NFL moved the game to Tuesday, which, hey, I guess it makes sense. Maybe the Rams should have just had to give us a W because they have completely ruined the game. And also next week game, if the NFL doesn't reschedule that one as well and push it back, so the Seahawks or the Rams both to have to play on 5 days notice. But anyways, the Rams, the game got moved back, and now the Rams are getting healthier and the Seahawks are getting worse off. And boy, would you look at that. That's a pretty common thing for both of the teams that got moved back, both of the games that got moved back to Tuesday. I believe the Washington football team had the major outbreak, and now they're getting a lot better, and the Eagles are now losing guys to COVID. And, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but boy, oh boy, did you see that the Washington football team and the Los Angeles Rams are both some pretty large markets? Washington, D.C., pretty big market. L.A., pretty big market. Bigger than Philadelphia and Seattle, no matter how diehard the fans are. I'm not going to say that the NFL is doing this for money, but, would the NFL really want to give up an L.A. game? Would the NFL really want to give up that revenue? I don't want to be this guy that's saying the NFL is completely ruining the Seahawks because they want money, but boy, it's kind of looking like, maybe if the Seahawks had 25 players out, the NFL may not have postponed this game. And, the Eagles people are complaining about it, Seahawks people are complaining about it, and, just to kind of go into more specifics, the Seattle Seahawks, in the time that the game has been postponed, so only since Sunday. So if the game was played on Sunday, we would have these players. But ever since Sunday, the Seattle Seahawks have lost, I believe, 7 more players. So they still have Tyler Lockett and Alex Collins out, but they also lost starting corner, number 1 corner, best corner on the team, DJ Reed. They also lost, starting offensive lineman Brandon Shell. They also lost, Travis Homer and Kerry Hyder. Both, they may not be the biggest people on the team, but they're pretty important in their own way. Both guys make some plays. Travis Homer, absolutely fantastic on special teams. Kerry Hyder, he's made some plays this year. And, the other 2 guys, Pierre-Olivier Lestage and Mike Jackson, neither of them are really playing, so that's not the biggest deal. But still, you're missing your number 1 corner. You're missing, a starting offensive lineman, no matter how bad he is. We're missing a guy on special teams that has made a pretty big impact in a couple games so far. It's just, we're losing guys left and right. And guess what? During this same time, the Rams have gotten 11 players back, including Odell Beckham Jr., starting wide receiver, and boy, oh boy, Jalen Ramsey, all-pro cornerback, and I'm pretty sure they got Darrell Henderson back as well. I don't know about Von Miller, but they're getting a lot of guys back, and we're losing a lot of guys. So now the Seattle Seahawks are in a significantly worse spot going into this game than they would have been if the game was played on Sunday. And I get it. Obviously, you don't want to have a team that has 29 COVID cases going against a team that doesn't have many, and maybe spreading that to the other team. But it looks like it really doesn't matter. It still happened either way. And now the Seattle Seahawks are at a significantly, worse off place than they were going into this game if it were to be played on Sunday. And that's what I want to say, is the same exact thing happened in the Washington football team game against the Eagles, where one team was doing worse, it got moved back, and now one team is doing better going into this game, and the team that would have been fine going into Sunday's game is doing a lot worse now. And I think that is a problem. Now, is this just some big rigmarole that's being puppeted by the owners of the NFL? I don't know. I'm not going to put it past the NFL to look to make these bigger, market games, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, making sure these teams are getting better off, so that they have a better chance. Because let's be completely honest, are the Seahawks bringing in as much money as the Los Angeles Rams? Probably not. Are the Eagles bringing as much money as the Washington football team? Probably not. It seems like this might not be something the NFL would do, but it also might be something the NFL would do. So I'm not going to put it past them to be looking to make more money and moving these games instead instead of having, obviously a forfeited game means there's not going to be a game played. The NFL loses a ton of money. But now, even if the game was played with like the Rams trash players playing against the Seahawks players, maybe that's worse for the LA market, and the LA market is bringing in more money than the Seahawks market. So I don't know. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to throw that out there. I'm not going to say, anything if it is or isn't happening, but that's just my thoughts. I think it's kind of suspect. But now, moving into the actual game, the Seattle Seahawks are at a pretty gosh darn clear disadvantage. I think we possibly can get Tyler Lockett back and Alex Collins if they both test negative today. I'm not exactly sure, but, assuming that both of them are vaccinated, I know Tyler Lockett is, don't know about Alex Collins. I think we can get both of them back if they have negative tests. But I don't think that we can get DJ Reed back. I don't think that we can get, Brandon Shell back. I don't think we can get any of the guys that went on within these last few days back. But, that's going to be very tough because, as the Rams got one of their really, really good wide receivers back, we lost our best corner. So that's not going to look great for the Seahawks when it comes to playing defense against Cooper Kupp, who is absolutely fantastic this year. Probably the best wide receiver in the entire NFL this year, and also playing defense against Odell Beckham Jr., who is very versatile, even though he kind of sucked with the Browns. He's looking a lot better now that he's on the Rams. And they also have Van Jefferson, who, if you don't really watch out for him, he can probably get like a 40, 50-yard touchdown. So not only would this game and Cooper Kupp and all that be a problem for the Seattle Seahawks, even if Odell Beckham Jr. wasn't there, it's now significantly worse for the Seahawks because the game has been delayed 2 days. We lost our best corner, who would have probably been guarding Cooper Kupp, and the Rams got back their second best wide receiver. So this is just a complete lose-lose for the Seattle Seahawks. And now, going on to the offensive side for the Seahawks, we didn't really lose anybody like DK Metcalf. Of course, we don't have Tyler Lockett, but we wouldn't have had him if we played the game Sunday anyway. So, we still have DK Metcalf. We've got some pretty gosh darn good wide receivers behind DK Metcalf. Obviously not at the level of Tyler Lockett, but still pretty good. They can hold their own. Freddie Swain's good. Dwayne Eskridge actually looked pretty good these last 2 weeks. But, it's going to be a very difficult game now because the Rams have got back Jalen Ramsey. And boy, oh boy, one of the best corners in the league who we wouldn't have had to face on Sunday is now going to make this game significantly harder for us. And really, I think this game comes down to Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson, last time he played against the Rams, we all know what happened. Aaron Donald completely broke his finger and ruined our entire season single-handedly. Aaron Donald, he can be a force to be reckoned with, but God, can he destroy an entire team's season? That's a lot of talent. But I think Russell Wilson needs to come into this game, looking for vengeance. He can't play scared. Of course, I feel like Russell Wilson, any normal quarterback coming into this game would probably be scared going against Aaron Donald, who broke your finger last time. Maybe you're kind of second-guessing making that throw if Aaron Donald's next to you, but Russell needs to come into this game, no fear. He got to come in, try and get revenge. Rashad Penny has to do what he did last week against the Texans, which is going to be a significantly more difficult task for Rashad Penny. But I believe in him. I'm starting him on my fantasy team, and boy, do I need him to do good. But, Russell Wilson, this all falls on the back of him. I don't really believe in our defense to do great because, one, Cooper Kupp is absolutely a fantastic wide receiver who breaks down even better defenses than we're playing, schematically. But he's going to do very well. These underneath plays that we allow, I think Cooper Kupp is going to take major advantage of that because he is very good after the run. He's very good at finding openings in defenses, and boy, do we allow a lot of openings. But now that we don't have our top corner, Darrell Henderson is going to be coming back for them. So, they're just even better off on offense and on defense than they would have been if we played Sunday. So, I don't want to chalk this up as a loss for the Seattle Seahawks. But I do want to say that if this game was played on Sunday, I think the Seattle Seahawks would have had a significantly higher chance of winning the game than they do now, and it's not looking great for us. But overall, if the Seattle Seahawks do end up losing this game, I don't really think that there's a way for us to make the playoffs, especially since the Saints and the Vikings both won their games this week. It's not looking great for the Seattle Seahawks, even if we do win this game. If we win this game, we still have to have a lot of things go right, a lot more things going right than initially expected, because we didn't expect the Saints to beat the Buccaneers. But, Tom Brady completely fell apart, 0 points. What are you doing? I believe there is still technically a chance if we lose, but it's going to take like the Jets beating the greatest team of all time. It's going to take the Bears winning games. Like, come on. Are we really going to have that happen? So, if we lose this game, it's just about over. If we win this game, I'll be surprised, to be completely honest, because we are not in a great situation going into this game. But we'll just have to see what happens. I believe this falls on the back of Russell Wilson. I don't believe in our defense to do great. I believe the Rams are just going to completely torch us this game, and it's really all going to come down to Russell Wilson being able to outscore a fantastic Rams offense against, a defense for the Seattle Seahawks, who hasn't looked really that good recently, but of course is going to look significantly worse without our top corner. But we'll just have to see what happens. Odell Beckham Jr., Jalen Ramsey, Darrell Henderson, congratulations on coming back. Congratulations to the Rams on getting a lot of players back while the Seahawks lost their players because of a 2-day delay in the game. And, I just want to say, I don't really trust the NFL. The NFL has done some shady stuff against the Seattle Seahawks. Not saying we're being targeted, but just in general to have more money being poured in through these games. Remember last year when we could have possibly allowed our players to rest, and instead of having us play Sunday night, the NFL moved all of the games that were, having guys that were fighting for playoff spots who would get the 1 seed. They moved all those games to the same exact time, so everyone had to play their players instead of the Seahawks maybe being able to rest some guys and stop a couple of injuries. That was questionable, but obviously the NFL was looking to make more money. The Rams having a significantly worse chance of winning, so they moved the game 2 days. Now the Rams have a significantly better chance of winning in a much bigger market than Seattle. Seems like the NFL is looking to make profits, and they won't care about what happens to the lower market teams. Then it just doesn't matter to them, it seems. It's pretty obvious that some things have been happening these past few years where the NFL focuses more on money than they do on fairness, but that's just my opinion. Obviously I'm biased, but let me know down below in the comments what you think about this. Do you think the Seahawks can win this game? Do you think the NFL is completely and utterly sabotaging the Seattle Seahawks every single year? It seems like that happens. But like I said, let me know down below in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a great day.